One of the controversial topics in game collecting nowadays is reproduction cartridges. Often these are used for purposes such as translating a new game and putting it out in a physical form, making an extremely rare and hard to find game more readily available, and scamming people on eBay. Are reproduction cartridges good or bad? We'll find out my thoughts on it on today's episode of Stuff We Play. So reproduction cartridges are interesting. The concept of them I'm all for because stuff like this is already existed in other types of hobbies. For example, along with video games, I collect classic toy trains, and many sets from back in the days, which in the case of toy trains is the 30s or 40s, are very difficult to find and can cost thousands of dollars. So that's why it's great that companies recreate those and release versions that cost only a few $100s. And game collecting is the same way. Let's take a game such as Mega Man: The Wily Wars, which was only released physically in Europe and Japan. In the US, it was only available on the Sega channel, and you'll be hard pressed to find a European copy. I bought a repro from Flashback Entertainment for 30 bucks, and it's a very good repro. However, then you get into the dark side of reproductions. This is Mega Man: The Wily Wars, the reproduction cartridge, straight from AliExpress in China. You see, the reason I brought two cartridges is there's no quality control. While this game looks authentic, you notice it's actually a bit thinner than a Sega Genesis box, and it's also oddly shiny. You can hear something rattling in the cartridge. After the first time I saved the game started becoming glitchier and glitchier. Finally one day, it just stopped working altogether. Flashback's cartridge, by the way, and I should mention I am not sponsored by them or anything, I just think they did a hell of a job, does not have anything rattling around in it. As reproduction cartridge manufacturers are more of a niche company, it's hard to put them under quality control. They just don't have that type of scrutiny. That even repros that don't come from China can be of dubious quality. This is a copy of Ys 5, which is a game that was never released in any way, shape, or form in the US by having like 3 different versions in Japan. The label's peeling, and the save feature doesn't work in this either. However, overall, I've still got to experience it. I still have a physical way to play it, and for that, I'm grateful for repro cards. If you get them for a decent price, then that's good because it allows you to experience that and you have a physical way to play it, which if you're a proponent of physical media like I am, is good. However, then you get into the way dark side of repros. Most high quality reproduction cartridges put something on them to differentiate them from a regular version. Mega Man: The Wily Wars is a bad example because it didn't come out in North America and thus wouldn't normally have a Genesis sticker, but let's say it did come out. Well, regardless, Flashback puts their little logo on the top of everyone, and then actually puts a QR code for a digital manual on the back as well. That differentiates it from a real Genesis game. You know, oh, this is a reproduction. However, often on eBay, you see cartridges that, well, they aren't marked like that. And often sellers on eBay, and their scummy ways, try to pass these cartridges off as the real thing. And honestly, the rule of thumb with that is that if you see a rare game on eBay, look up a picture of what the real board looks like and see if the seller will send pictures of the open cartridge if they don't already. And if they won't, they're probably lying. However, it's still a problem, and let's be honest, I'm a small YouTube channel, and while others have talked about that, a lot of people don't know that. And I don't want to see people being scammed on Little Samsons and Earthbounds and whatnot. And it's a problem in the community. So overall, I think reproduction cartridges are great ways to experience games that you might have never gotten a chance to play otherwise, especially if you're a fan of physical media. However, when the means of making them fall into the wrong hands, trouble can brew. And comment down below, what are your personal thoughts on reproduction cartridges? Do you think they're evil and shouldn't exist to begin with? Do you think they're very dubious legally? So with that, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to drop us a like and to subscribe. We have new videos out every week. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time.